I want you to understand is that large language models do not understand English in any capacity because OpenAI is very good at marketing, and all of these AI companies are very good at marketing. They're good at saying that their models can think, can reason, and as though they have reached some kind of level of thought, right? It's all not real. So this video is just going to talk about what are these chain of thought models that are coming around. It's already a long time since the first chain of thought model has been released. But I just want to break this down so that just in case you don't fall for any goofy advertising and you don't think that DeepSeek can think or something like that, right? So how do chain of thought models actually work? There's a thing that you must understand. You probably heard that large language models have the difficulty of finding that the word strawberry, right? It does not in fact have only two R's, right? It has one, two, three, right? But they say, oh, it has like two R's or four R's or eight R's or some crazy thing like that. And so it's like, how can you not understand it? Just count it, look at it, and then understand it, right? It's very simple to think that, but in reality, there's a thing that prevents them from doing that, which is called tokens. You may already know this to some extent, but really, this is important to say. You may have heard that like a token is like when a full word like this is broken down into pieces, right? Straw and berry, right? It still, however, does not explain why can the large language model just look at those two and look at that and say, okay, there's three bars. Why not? Because of something called tokenization. That's important. So large language models are a very sophisticated type of statistical model, and statistical models generate numbers. They do not generate words, they generate numbers. So this is what happens. You have your model and you have your input that are your words, right? Okay, so like how many R's are in strawberry, right? How many R's are in strawberry? Your text is converted. Each word is first like cut down into these word pieces, and then they are converted from those pieces into numbers. So each large language model has its own token vocabulary, which is like a set of words that the first numbers from like 0 to, I don't know, maybe 100 are all just like special characters, and then letters in uppercase, letters in lowercase, etc. so on. Maybe different language letters and etc. etc. And so that means that the number 2433 and 2543 might actually mean the word or like the phrase, how are you, right? It's just very different, random. All you have to know is that they're actually numbers, right? The input, so the input that is given are actually a bunch of numbers, and then the model gets that. It does its math that I won't explain here, but it's like a lot of math that generates another number, right? One number. And then that number is converted into a word. Like this could be there, right? Just any word. And then it like this input is like this little number is added to this input, to this original input, and then fed again into the model till it generates another number, R, there R, and then put that number again, added with the original input, run it to the model, it generates another number, 3, and then do that again, and so on until it generates there are 3 or 2 or 5 R's in strawberry, right? So that's the thing. You have to understand they are numbers. The models don't understand English. Models know English or any language or any lang. И русский тоже, right? So they don't understand any language. И то не понимают, which is important to understand. So then, how do chain of thought models actually work? That looks like cotangent, but it isn't. So then how do they actually work? Well, the model generates another token called the think token. Maybe you've seen it when you've like interacted with ChatGPT or Claude, or Claude doesn't have reasoning yet, but either way with DeepSeek, the think token is the special token. There's like this term called special tokens, is essentially usually the tokens that the model generates that look like this. For if you can go like do a fun little experiment, go to ChatGPT and write something like end of prompt. I think this one, end of prompt. Right? If you generate that, I believe it will not notice anything. It'll just say, it seems like your message is blank, right? Because it registers that as like a special token announcing that, okay, the user has finished their message. I believe that that's their token, but the exact type of token varies from model to model. But yeah, and by the way, this is also converted to numbers. This is also some kind of numerical value. In ChatGPT, it could be 2,543. So when you type this, it converts to this number and like so on. Anyway, and it's just another special token that has been like trained. The model has been trained to generate that special token before responding. So first it will do think and then yap to itself as it's called. Yap, 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 talk to itself, 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 and then finish the think token as is done in HTML. I mean, it can be different, of course. The exact syntax of how it looks like varies from model to model, but anyway. And it generates it, thinks to itself, and then actually generates its response, which is over here, and then end of message, right? End of M, just like that, right? Just sample. And so it has just been found that when you make the model think, there's better performance, just scientists, right, in science, you happen to figure out that it actually works better. And so that's why we can consider that it's kind of like reasoning, think before you speak kind of thing, but it actually isn't. It's just breaking it down. So when the input goes into the model and it sees all of the reasoning steps that it has done before and is actually trying to respond, it has it like laid down step by step because that's what the model has been trained to do. It's been trained to like think step by step. And then when it looks at those thoughts, it actually generates more coherent output rather than just generating without any like thought. But then sometimes generating without any thought, without any of these, is actually more beneficial because if you're trying to do something simple, like the reason why DeepSeek wants to do math coding and logic problems all the time, right? If like you message it, it's because of the fact that it has this think thing and it's just way more beneficial for it to do think and like the responses that it can give they are better with math coding and other logic problems because it can reason through them instead of just like telling you how's the weather today. It cannot like fully reason through that. Like, what's the point, right? You could just ask a more simple model, and so you would need think for more complex tasks. And also, it like DeepSeek prefers to do think because it constantly says like, can we do math coding and logic problems instead? Because it's monitored by the Chinese government, of course. But yeah, so the reason why I explain this is because many people are actually like fearing AI and that, oh my God, it's developing so quickly, it's replacing all humans. LLM specific, I cannot speak for all AI, but LLM specifically, they're definitely not as close. Reason being is because they are statistical models, and just keep this all the time in mind that in reality, what's happening inside the model itself, inside the mathematical algorithm, it's all math and numbers. So there's no words in there and it has no comprehension of that, uh, of actual semantic words. And so, like, you could be enamored by how ChatGPT can explain the shape of A as if it can visualize it and understand it. In reality, it's just been trained to say the words that it is saying. It's just been trained to give out the numbers that satisfy the user the most, right? That's it. And so when you understand, oh, okay, you're just math, then you fear it less. So just please understand. But look, if you're a software developer, which is most likely, and you like to make apps and projects and whatnot, I suggest you try Stellar AI. I created Stellar AI as an AI tool for people to use, for people like me, for software developers like me, to be able to use for their software projects and apps and so on. And right now it's actually in early access mode, so you can go and sign up for free and like try it out for free for 2 months with no problem at all and just see if you like it or not. Give me some feedback. Do you like it? Do you not? And maybe, who knows, maybe it actually helps you, accelerates your software development journey. That's ultimately the aim of Stellar AI. So go try it out and goodbye.